It's the start of a brand new season, one that on paper promises to be among the closest, hardest fought in the history of Bridgestone GR86, and we cannot wait to see what unfolds. Hi everybody, Greg Russ with you at Hampton Downs in the mighty Waikato for one of the headline acts of the Next Gen NZ Championship. 15 drivers are ready, some of the best teams, the best prepared cars in the country, talented rookies and returning fighter aces, including the reigning champion Hugo Allen. We're on the longest of the three layouts here at Hampton Downs. The international circuit brings the best of it all together over nearly 4 Ks. It is both challenging but exhilarating in the same breath. Qualifying demands both bravery and consistency, with a driver's fastest time in qualifying determining their race 3 grid position and their second quickest time used to square away their race 1 grid slot. The session was a nail-biter. At the flag, last year's rookie star Chris White Jr.'s second best effort was good enough for pole for Saturday's season opener, while Arthur Broughan claimed the outright fastest time in the session to secure pole for Sunday's big feature race.
I think that's a great way to start the season. Pole position gives you plenty of confidence heading into the season.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome. I'm really happy with the car in that session, and yeah, thanks to the team at Mackenzie Motorsport for all the hard work over the last couple of days, and it's paid off. Yeah, so it's good.
Was the key there just getting that lap done early? Looked like sort of first lap it happened?
Yeah, well, first lap was good, yeah, and then second lap, because the new rule with the second laps, you're race 1 grid. I missed the gear, I went 3rd instead of 5th, so that was a bit of a scary moment. It was a bit of a shame that I mucked that up, but yeah, I'm happy with where I am for race 3.
Do you reckon that if you got that lap done, it would have been even quicker to put you further ahead, because it was quite a gap, sort of 3/10 to 3rd, 4th, 5th position down there? It was sort of only half a tenth between them all.
I don't think I would have gone any faster, but it was just more for the race 1 grid. So that was a bit of a shame, maybe a tenth or 2 lost there, but yeah, it's all good.
Congratulations, good luck this afternoon.
Should we look at the grid for you for the opening race? This was determined by the second fastest lap from qualifying. So Chris White for Neil Motorsport did a super job. 2 very consistent laps from him. Hugo Allen, the reigning champion, will start beside him on the front row. That's a good story. Arthur Broughan actually has pole for our final race of the weekend. He did a ripping job there in qual.
He did, and he had a 10.5 gap, which in Toyota 86, Bridgestone Toyota 86 terms, that's a huge gap. So he did a brilliant job. So we see there Lee Zelltwanger, so he's in the Corvette's car, which our reigning champion Hugo Allen was in last year. He's there in P7. Harry Townsend there in P8, and he did a great job to be P5 for the final race. Cormac Murphy, Lucas McGill, our Tony Quinn Foundation Scholarship winner and Wolfbrook Foundation Scholarship winner, there in P14, and Justin Allen there rounding out the field.
It's the beginning of a brand new season in Bridgestone GR86. We are underway for what is going to be an epic summer in this class. They'll go into one for the first time, and White Jr. will lead them. Everyone looks like they've started this one cleanly.
Hugo Allen also got a good start off the front row. Arthur Broughan, our pole sitter for tomorrow, he had to defend from Josh Bethune in the number 32 right cuts by M2 competition car, and then got Zach Blinko in the number 90 going down the outside of him. A bit further back, the rest of the field gathers up. We come down into turn 2. Lee Zelltwanger there going around the outside of AJ Giddy. White Jr. has actually pulled out a little bit of a margin. We see there in the background, Cormac Murphy and Mac Templeton having a good battle. Harry Townsend's defending going down there into turn 5 with Simon Hunter there just in front of those guys.
Chris White proving really handy on the cold tyres. He is not afraid to lean on those awesome Bridgestones at all, and he's made good ground here.
Hugo Allen's under a bit of pressure from Arthur Broughan, the pole sitter for tomorrow, so it's the reigning champ. Number 1 on the doors of that car, and he's got Arthur Broughan trying to go down the inside, and that might lead to a bit of contact there.
Great racing. I reckon Broughan's made that stick. So perhaps just the intimidation of diving down the inside. Allen knows what it takes to stitch a championship together. You can't afford in race 1 to get in a skirmish like that and ruin your chances. This is going to become a 3-way fight.
And Josh Bethune was looking very opportunistic there in the number 32 car, the right cuts car. Zach Blinko is also there in the fight. So this fight for second, it's starting to get aggressive.
This is awesome. It's all playing into Chris White Jr.'s hands, though. He's got a lead of more than a second. The pack and save machines 1 and 2 at present.
Giddy, Zelltwanger, Barnes and Hunter. Massive fight going on here between those guys for that 6th place.
Really.
Barnes going down the inside of the 22. That was opportunistic, but it looks like he might pull it off. Bethune's going to try go around the outside of him. Allen's got the inside though. He's going to stamp his authority on that piece of tarmac going around the final corner and up the straight. He's going to have the inside again for turn 1.
Look who's watching, waiting in the background there in the 90. That is Zach Blinko. He has got both of them in his sights. The 222 makes its way. Look at them. They're side by side. The Mad Butcher entry, that's the reigning champion. That is Hugo Allen, and he goes wheel to wheel with Bethune, but he takes it back now. Gets back into third. The right kart's entry should have a bit of momentum off the exit of that corner. This is terrific.
Yeah, Bethune, it looks like he's going to get this done. He's got the inside, so the preferential line over Hugo Allen here, and he's going to be firing it down the inside. Allen actually managed to move over there, so Josh Bethune lost a little bit of ground on the entry there. Allen's done a beautiful job to pull it up and keep Zach Blinko at bay.
He found himself in a really nice position, so he's picked up a place.
And it's looking like we may actually have a jump start investigation for both P1 and P2 off the grid there.
5-second penalty for Hugo Allen, and White Jr. I think is still being looked at. You've just got to put that stuff out of your mind, press on and let it be dealt with. I mean, there's just no point, is there?
Absolutely, and as we see there going to turn 1, Josh Bethune's actually dropped back into 5th, and he's lost a bit of time there to the top 3. So Hugo Allen's managed to break away from both Josh Bethune and Zach Blinko. AJ Giddy's doing a great job there to stay with these guys in 6th, but the top 3 have started to break away. And if anything, that gap to Chris White Jr. between Arthur Broughan and Hugo Allen has actually decreased a bit.
How beneficial are those opening laps? If you can be brave enough with the pressures at a certain level, knowing they'll come up to the ideal number, maybe in the latter part of the race, if you can be brave on that cold rubber, it works to your advantage, doesn't it?
Arthur Broughan there in 2nd. He's done a great job to pull about half a second in the last lap out of Chris White Jr. And Hugo Allen still there in 3rd. But as we know, both the race leader, Chris White Jr. and our reigning champ, Hugo Allen, are both under investigation for a jump start. Clearly, there's no shortage of speed in the 222 as he's looking up the inside of Chris White Jr. So both him and Hugo Allen have managed to... What a bit of racecraft there from Hugo Allen to dart across the track like that right at the end, and he definitely caught Arthur Broughan there by surprise, who's had to run on the defensive.
A little bit of bodywork underneath the sort of in the front splitter region or something there. You can see underneath Arthur Braughan's car. Doesn't seem to be slowing him up. That was a karting style dive bomb from the reigning champion in Hugo Allen there before, with time fast running out in this race. So all of a sudden Braughan's got to look in the rear view mirror here, keep one eye on the Mad Butcher entry, but he's trying to focus on White as well. Terrific racing up the front in this class. Then a gap back to Bethune, Zach Blinko and AJ Giddy, that next group.
As we watch here, Hugo's going to try and do the crisscross here. He's not quite made it work. He's now going to try to go around the outside of Arthur Broughan, but great bit of racing between these two guys for that 2nd place on the podium.
There's a question mark over the start at the moment, but he's got 1 lap to go, basically. Last lap board now on display for White Jr. Broughan keeps that car centre of the track. It's not the ideal line for turn 1, but he's trying to fend off Hugo Allen. Only a couple of corners remain here. Can these two find a little something and shut down that 0.6 of a second advantage to Chris White? Broughan again defending, keeps it mid-track. The ideal or the quicker line maybe suiting Hugo Allen here. If he can get a nice run through the final corner, that could set Allen up for a good run to the flag. Look at him left and right here. The car dancing as he fires it into the right-hander.
He actually hadn't made up his mind of which way he was going to go. He was going to try and go the inside and try and sell the dummy to Arthur Broughan, but you got to get up pretty early in the morning if you want to fool Arthur Broughan there. And Chris White Jr. is going to take the win.
Checkered flag waves. He'll greet that first, but a little question mark. Nice start, though, for White Jr. Broughan home 2nd in the end. Bit to unpack from that race.
As we take a look at the results, so provisional race results. Chris White Jr. took the win in the 88 car, followed by Arthur Broughan there. In the 222, our reigning champion Hugo Allen in 3rd there provisionally. Josh Bethune there in 4th, Zach Blinko 5th, AJ Giddy in 6th, Lee Zaltwanger there in 7th, Cooper Barnes in 8th, Simon Hunter in 9th, and Harry Townsend rounding out the top 10.
So just to update you here, the penalty has been or will be applied to what you see on screen here at the moment for Hugo Allen. That moves Josh Bethune up into 3rd.
Thanks, guys. Chris White Jr. taking out the race win for that one. Worked pretty hard for that. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, it's a good way to start the season, obviously. Like the whole Neil Motorsport crew have put a lot of work into me and Mac, so it's good to be able to come here and get the first race win of the season. Big shout out to Arthur. He was hunting me down that entire race, and he obviously had a lot of race pace, so it was quite good to be able to stay ahead of them. So we learnt lots in that one, so at least we can take all that information forward for tomorrow's race.
And there's a lot of talk and investigation around a jump start. You feel you did that?
To be honest, I didn't actually know. I just sort of thought I saw the lights go out and went for it, but Hugo did. I think he jumped the start, so I may have hesitated there a little bit, but either or, can't complain. Like, we know we got a semi-fast car or a fast car, so at least we're in a good spot.
Congratulations, obviously starting off the pole tomorrow.
Here's the revised results for race 1 following a post-race investigation. Hugo Allen's jump start penalty was applied before the flag fell, while officials deemed that Chris White Jr. had done the same, albeit by the narrowest of margins. So Arthur Broughan scores a breakthrough win. Josh Bethune second and Zach Blinko up to third. We'll have more from the Bridgestone GR86 Championship here at Hampton Downs in just a few moments. Welcome back. Big summer coming up for Toyota GAZOO Racing here in New Zealand. To our second race in a moment. But first, a chance to get to know Arthur Broughan a little better, our race 1 winner. A teenager who raced karts in Europe and now has the Bridgestone GR86 Championship squarely in his sights.
I'm Arthur Broughan. I'm 16 years old from Blenheim. I got into motorsport through a family friend at the go-kart track when I was 7 years old, and from then I've just been in love with it. My biggest supporter throughout my career has probably been my dad and my family, as well as my mentor, Bruce Hansett. My biggest success in motorsport has probably been in my karting. I've won a few titles, and even last year I got third in the Rookie Championship, so that was pretty cool. My ambition in motorsport is to make it to supercars. Obviously that's pretty tough, but I'll give it a good crack. My motorsport idol is probably Shane Van Gisbergen, because he's just got the ability to jump into any car and just drive it fast. The best circuit to race on in New Zealand is probably Highlands, just because it's very technical, and there's over the bridge, and it's all really cool track. Racing in the GR86 series is pretty tough. Like, you can be 2 tenths off pole in qualifying, and you'll be 13th, 14th, and it's really tough.
Welcome everyone to the live coverage here, round 1 of Repco Next Gen New Zealand Championship. We're here for a Sunday morning, the Alliance Services Hampton Downs GT International. As we can see there, the Bridgestone GR86s lined up there on the Cream Insurance's starting grid. Cooper Barnes off the pole, Lee Zelltwanger there, the Trophy Series winner from this year, off the P2. AJ Giddy there for Mackenzie Motorsport off P3. Zach Blinko in 4th. We look further down the field. The race winner who ended up getting a penalty yesterday, Chris White Jr., he's off P7 with the reigning champion Hugo Allen off P8. And the field rounded out by Justin Allen for Syndicate Motorsport, Mac Templeton, and Lucas McGill, our Tony Quinn Foundation and Wolfbrook Scholarship winner.
Watch for White Jr. He was so disappointed with that really minor breach. They deemed it was hundredths of a second. He'll be fast today. Away we go, race 2 of the season for Bridgestone GR86. And look at in the middle here, trying to thread the eye of the needle through the right-hander for the first time. 3 wide if you don't mind. Not too much in the way of paint swapping there. That's nice.
And that was Josh Bethune slicing down the middle of Zach Blinko and AJ Giddy. He got a brilliant start, but it's not quite looking like it's going to pay off. He's now slotted back in behind Blinko, but they're going to go 3 wide again, or just about going down towards turn 2. Hugo Allen's in the mix there as well. Arthur Broughan and Chris White Jr. as well. The 3 fast guys from yesterday, as we see the rest of the field. A little bit of dust getting kicked up going into turn 3.
I think Broughan was nearly out rally driving in the grass there. It was very likely to end up a 4-way battle. So watch for those 2 pack and save machines. They're like the sharks coming through the field, the pair of them. That success from yesterday for Broughan as the race winner means that he's at the tail of the inversion of the group this morning.
And Lee Zelltwanger is doing a great job there in 2nd place as well, in behind Cooper Barnes, the Toyota 86 Trophy winner from this year. As we see there, Zach Blinko in 3rd. AJ Giddy in 4th and Josh Bethune in 5th. And we see the remainder of the pack there. Cormac Murphy, Cam Hill, Simon Hunter and Justin Allen having a great fight there. Mac Templeton not too far behind, and our TQF winner, Lucas McGill, there in 15th.
Hoping that Sunday is a nicer day for the Syndicate Motorsport crew for the Napa entry there of Justin Allen, and for Cormac, who you mentioned, your brother there a moment ago. They have been on the back foot a little bit this weekend, but in reviewing things last night, I think they felt like they had pretty reasonable race cars. So it's just the qualifying that perhaps needs to be tuned up. So let's see how they go in the races today. Looking at yesterday's runners, Broughan is currently in 6th. It's Cooper Barnes leading the way.
Yeah, for sure, Rusty. As we see there, Cooper Barnes comes across the line to lead that first lap. Lee Zelltwanger there in 2nd, Zach Blinko 3rd, AJ Giddy there in 4th, and Josh Bethune in 5th. Arthur Broad's done a great job to get onto the back of Bethune already, and he's actually sort of left Chris White Jr. and Hugo Allen behind a little bit. So plenty of pace and fury in that 222 Mackenzie Motorsport run GR86. As we go down the back straight, AJ Giddy and Josh Bethune having a braking competition, the last of the late breakers. Run through turn 2 cleanly. He leaves Bethune enough room going down towards turn 3. And now Braun's trying to block from, or defend from, Chris White Jr. Hugo Allen's not too far behind. He's just biding his time. They've got 10 laps to try and sort this one out. To look further back, Harry Townsend's actually closing in on Hugo Allen as well. Cormac Murphy's got a bit of space to himself there in the 81 Syndicate Motorsport car, and Simon Hunter's leading the next pack of angry little GR86s.
Impressed here with the job by AJ Giddy. He is not being intimidated.
You see there Josh Bethune going around, trying to go around the outside of AJ Giddy. So AJ Giddy's he's becoming a little bit of a cork in the bottle there. He was defending pretty hard down towards the first hip, and he's doing a great job though. He's holding his ground and not letting Josh Bethune bother him too much. But we see them coming across the line to complete another lap. He's going on the defensive again, and Bethune's going to try drive around the outside of him. Josh Bethune, he's got plenty of experience racing all different kinds of cars and go-karts, and he's multi-New Zealand champ, or a North Island champion in go-karts. As we see him coming down the back straight there, trying to get past AJ Giddy.
Arthur Braun's been able to pull clear of that next battle of Chris White Jr. and Hugo Allen. Looks like White Jr. is under pressure there from Allen, so they're fighting away out wide. And that hurts him just a little bit. So Giddy's doing, you know, in the face of that battle, the teenager really handling this well.
It's impressive because he's able to drive the car really defensively and not lose a lot of time. Josh Bethune's only just sort of starting to make a bit of inroads. He's got a good run on him out of turn 4 here. He's got AJ running a bit wide. AJ's now had to go very narrow, and Bethune's going to try and cross him going up over the double B corner. Broughan up the inside.
Nice.
What a dive, and he's fended him off the road.
And that's let White Jr. through. This is the thing with both Allen and White Jr., just in flagging that before that they were in their own battle. It's really important with these Sunday morning races that you avoid the skirmishes and come through. You actually don't want to lose too much in the way of ground like that. So we need to see where Arthur Broughan has popped back out. Dive bombs down the inside, carries momentum. They make contact. And how's that going to be viewed by Motorsport New Zealand Race Control?
It actually looked like their wheels interlocked, so as they were trying to steer, the steering wheel got ripped out of Arthur Braun's hands as the wheels collided, but I'm not too sure. I think that's going to be one for Rowan Shepherd to make the call on. Josh Bethune's not going to be too happy about that, I'd say. He gave him the room and then ended up getting escorted off the road, so I'm sure they'll have something to say about that. But as we go down the back straight now for another lap, Hugo Allen was actually coming under a lot of pressure from Harry Townsend, who has actually managed to pass the reigning champion Hugo Allen. So great job from Harry Townsend. He's driving brilliantly.
Well, back we go to the front of the field. So the 186 is Cooper Barnes. Now, Zelltwanger is under pressure here, and that'll be for position. Up into second goes Zach Blinko. Nice piece of driving. Gets it done at turn 1.
Very clean, very good pass there from Zach Blinko. We saw a lot of speed from him last summer here at the Hampton Downs International Circuit. He's obviously got the car dialed in here. He's driving it beautifully. So we see him there making that pass for second, nice and clean. We see there looking further back, actually, Josh Bethune now. He's under pressure from Arthur Braughan. Again, these two, they were going at it over the last couple of laps. Now they're going at it again, and it's actually managed to give Cormac Murphy a little bit of reprieve. As it looks like there's actually a little bit of flame coming out of the back of the 222 car. Maybe some of that bodywork damage has caught on the exhaust.
2.4 litre boxer engines, around 228 horsepower from these cars. Very evenly matched. Lots of control measures in place to give young racers, often out of karts and perhaps even Formula Ford and so on, the chance to learn their skills. And some very good teams in New Zealand motorsport, all represented in the paddock here. So mid-track, the Bayswater entry of Harry Townsend, currently in 6th place, and this is an angry pack behind him here now.
The gap between sort of 5th and 6th place has grown quite significantly. Mac Templeton just went down the inside of Arthur Broughan. Great little pass there down at the first hairpin. Good little bit of racecraft from Mac Templeton. So we're starting to see him show his true colours today after a few little struggles yesterday. But Harry Townsend still in the lead of this pack. He's actually managed to open the gap a little bit to Hugo Allen.
Barnes leading the way and comfortably. But Zach Blinko starting to maybe just by a 10th or 2 look a little quicker down the inside. Having a look, showing the nose. Townsend trying to make it difficult for him. Allen will get the job done. That should set him up for the next one.
What a great bit of racing there as well. Harry squeezed him right up as much as he could to the limit, but they gave each other room. There wasn't too much rubbing, and Hugo Allen's going to clear Harry Townsend now, but what a great bit of racecraft between them both. A lot of respect shown, and they both managed to come through turn 1 without a scratch. Blinko's
done a nice job here of just working away at it, hasn't he? We had an almost a second lead, so what has happened here? He's clawed down the advantage. Big dive under brakes, waits until the start of the final lap and gets it done.
What a pass, and he sold the dummy a little bit. He ran wide and then sort of got Cooper Barnes across the track to the outside, and then at the last second as they went under brakes, he then moved across and took the race lead. So beautiful pass from Zach Blinko, and he's kept it clean. Nice and clean and steady this whole race, and managed to take the race lead off Cooper Barnes going on to the final lap. So he's now running a little bit defensive, but he's got the speed clearly in that number 90 car that he could chase down Cooper Barnes and take the lead.
AJ Giddy is eyeing up 3rd place here as well in the Opie contracting entry. Just keep a little watch on that fight between he and Zeltwanger. Now, has Blinko made that move a fraction too early? What has Barnes got in response here? We're about to come into the final turn. That long sweeping right-hander. Set yourself up for the run to the line here. Is he close enough? Blinko seems to have it covered. They've got the checkered flag waiting and ready. Can Giddy find a way past Zeltwanger? Climb the hill here at Hampton Downs. First of the races on a big day of coverage here on Sunday morning. Blinko's going to do it. Congratulations. Broughan won yesterday, race 2 taken out by Blinko on Sunday morning, and Barnes, who basically led all of it, was pounced on at the start of the final lap. Was it a waiting game? Because if it was executed superbly by Zach Blinko. Gets the jump on Barnes going into the first corner at the start of the final lap. Barnes had led the entire way. Great job by Lee Zeltwanger, having stepped up from the trophy class as the Trophy Series champion. That's a nice impression he's making. We look a little bit further back outside the top 10. Cam Hill there in 12th. Probably the story, though, is Arthur Broughan, yesterday's winner in 10th. Cormac Murphy in 9th place.
What a race that was, and the race win. Zach Blinko, how does that feel, mate?
Yeah, stoked. Obviously, first win in the series. Yeah, couldn't have been any happier. Yeah, it was a bit of a shaky start there, a bit dicey, but yeah, managed to get some pretty clear space from behind, and then yeah, just picked my way through and got there in the end, so super stoked.
Congratulations, well done getting it done on the last lap.
Fantastic result for Zach Blinko, taking the win. 2nd straight podium in as many races. Cooper Barnes 2nd, Lee Zeltwanger giving us a glimpse of his growing talent, an excellent 3rd. Stay with us, the feature race of the weekend is just around the corner. Fantastic crowd on hand and beautiful conditions for the season opener of Bridgestone GR86. The field has been released from the dummy grid here at Hampton Downs for the final race of the weekend. Ronan Murphy alongside me for the call, with Andrew Wade covering the pit and victory lane.
So Arthur Broughan got the fastest lap of anybody in qualifying. That is what determines the grid for our final one of the weekend. The quali results for race 1 of the weekend are set by the 2nd quickest time. So consistency is rewarded here. Lee Zeltwanger had a very good race earlier this morning. Cormac Murphy showing some improved form for Syndicate Motorsport off the back of, for he and Justin Allen at Syndicate Motorsport, of a difficult weekend in qualifying sense. The race cars, or race trim, has been better for them. 13 years of 86 racing, the second generation car, and away we go for the final one of the weekend here at Hampton Downs. And I think the Mad Butcher entry of the reigning champion Hugo Allen got away nicely, but in the second phase of the launch, he's been swamped by the pack and save entries. Arthur Broughan and Chris White Jr. You can throw in Josh Bethune there as well. And Zach Blinko right in the draft. Look at him at the tail of 4 on the run down to turn 2.
Yeah, it's a 5-car drag race down towards turn 2 there. Arthur Broughan's managed to keep the lead. Josh Bethune going for that unconventional outside line, and it may have paid dividends. So we see Mac Templeton's been turned there. Cameron Hill's involved as well. So unfortunate for those two guys.
And I think that might be going on with it, or perhaps he was checking the steering. I should give him the benefit of the doubt there, but it did look a bit feisty. Anyway, Allen in second place. He's looking left and right. Broughan seems pretty speedy at the moment. Has had the likes of Caleb Nutsower in his corner this weekend doing some data. Johnny McIntyre. There's a good group of people around the 222 of Arthur Broughan.
Yeah, great job, Hugo Allen there. He managed to steal that second place back off Josh Bethune. So those guys are going hammer and tong at the moment, and they were two of our main championship rivals last season. So great to see them both back. Arthur Broughan there's still leading the race. He's running a little bit more defensive down there. So we see the rest of the field, the Syndicate Motorsport cars running together there. And Mac Templeton and Cam Hill, they haven't lost too much ground to the rest of the pack as they charge on. But Arthur Broughan coming through the final corner. He's got about a car length gap back to Hugo Allen. Josh Bethune's right on the bumper of Hugo Allen there in the number 1 Mad Butcher car. And then back in 4th place, we've got Chris White Jr., Zach Blinko, our form guy from the last 2 races, and Harry Townsend there back in 6th place in the number 73 Bayswater car.
It's been a solid weekend, really, when you look at the races for Harry Townsend.
Bethune didn't get a great run out of turn 1 there, and he's had to go right on the defensive on Chris White Jr. and Zach Blinko. Blinko and White giving each other heaps of room there. Good racing. Chris White actually had the window wipers going, so he might have accidentally knocked one of the toggles in this inside of that car. As we see there, Zach Blinko, Harry Townsend's now getting into this fight as well. I was talking to him and his dad earlier today. His dad, Father Rob Townsend, was saying, you know, it was a late entry into this. He wasn't sure how they were going to go, but they've been pleasantly surprised right up the front there and running in the top 6. Great to see Harry having a great run out there. As we look now back, Zach Blinko just in ahead. Chris White Jr. Hugo Allen dropped a little bit of dirt there on the exit of the double B corner, but he's right up behind Arthur Broughan, as we see now. AJ Giddy looking for a move there on the inside of Cooper Barnes. And then coming across the line now, Arthur Broughan's got a pretty comfortable little gap there of about half a second now over Hugo Allen, and then the gap back to Josh Bethune there in 3rd in the right karts car. He's lost about a second now to Hugo Allen, but he's got his hands full there with Chris White Jr. there in behind, who was one of our fast guys yesterday. And he's going to be looking to try and make amends for after that penalty yesterday, try and get himself back on the podium. Coming down to turn 2, such a late break in there. Chris White Jr., he's making a bit of ground there. The Neil Motorsport number 88. Zach Blinko there, still in 5th place, holding down the fort.
So fastest lap of the race. We're now down into kind of the more indicative territory, Ronan. So the fastest lap belongs to Arthur Broughan. Last time by was a 1 minute 49.227, and he had about 2/10 on Hugo Allen. So, but they're the only 2 that are in the 49s at the moment. So just see what the next couple of laps bring here. They look pretty handy, pretty speedy, the pair of them, as they run down into that final turn. That long sweeping right-hander that brings them up onto the main straight here at Hampton Downs.
Yeah, and Hugo Allen and Arthur Broughan have really taken the ball and run with it. They've managed to pull a pretty sizable gap now over Josh Bethune, who's becoming potentially a little bit of a cork in the bottle to the rest of the field. There's about 1086s all lined up behind Josh Bethune there, but Josh, he's a very experienced, he's a wily competitor, Josh Bethune, super aggressive, super intelligent, and he's doing a great job stopping Chris White Jr. and the rest from getting past. So he's certainly holding down the fort at the moment for to look to end up on the podium here. But the top 2, they've managed to break away about 1.4 seconds up the road on Bethune now, so he's got his work cut out for him to try and catch up. And Simon Hunter was looking up the inside there of Lee Zaltwanger in the number 42. The As is where is K, gives him a little rub on the exit. That's good racing there. Zaltwanger almost drops a wheel. Cormac Murphy's now firing up the inside of Cooper Barnes, trying to take advantage. Barnes there in the 186 car. He's now moved up there into 9th. Cormac Murphy's now in the top 10 after starting 13th. AJ Giddy's dropped back to 11th.
Thought Giddy might be a little more in the mix there in the Opie entry. He's close to Cormac Murphy there, but Cormac's car seems to be coming alive at the moment, so nice bit of driving by Murphy as he basically has just opened the door to the top 10. So it's Arthur Broughan leading the way as our coverage of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship at Hampton Downs continues from Hugo Allen with the number 1 on the door, the reigning champion, trying to go back-to-back, taking a different approach in the 2025-26 season. 42 is Simon Hunter, 22 is Lee Zaltwanger, and they've been battling now for a good couple of laps.
Yeah, and Simon Hunter managed to get past Lee Zaltwanger on that last lap, but he hasn't driven away from him. And Zaltwanger is actually going back up the inside there at turn 1. How's this going to end on the exit here?
That's been the place where Lee has tried to make the move. I think he feels like that's his best chance, and he's finally, I think, been able to get it done. They'll drag race down to turn 2 here, but Lee, although the line will be a little compromised, is ideally placed to complete it, and he does.
And Simon Hunter was smart there. He thought the better of it and thought, I don't want to be on the outside on the exit of 2 there. So he slotted back in behind Zaltwanger and got a good run out of turn 2. Cooper Barnes there, Cormac Murphy and AJ Giddy are all trying to take advantage of what's going on between those 2 cars. But great pass from Lee Zaltwanger. No contact, nice and clear and smooth down the inside. And he got the move done, and he's actually now pulled about a car length gap to Simon Hunter.
When you look at the lap times, Ronan, Arthur again, I mean, last time by a 1 minute 49.337. We have the top 5 that are in the 49s now, but no one else is really quite able to replicate Arthur's pace. The closest, naturally, is Hugo Allen.
Yeah, and those top 2 have got about a 2/10 to 2.5 margin over the rest of the field in terms of lap time. So they're in a bit of a league of their own at the moment. The only other car that's got about that pace is Mac Templeton down in 14th. He did a 1:49.5, so he was the 3rd fastest car on that last lap. We look back now, so on that last lap, Hugo Allen was actually the fastest car, and we see there...
I reckon that was your brother. I think Cormac might have ventured off the track and collected one of the next-gen signs. Need to confirm that, but it did look like the 81. He was running in 10th place at the time, Ronan, so we thought he was just edging his way. They're showing a bit of good pace. We're having a little look at Josh Bethune at the moment, who's holding down the final spot in the top 3. Let's have a little look here. You've got better eyes than me. Watching the background.
Watching the background there. Yet that white, green and red.
Oh, save it, tries to save it, just clips the corner.
Yeah, like he didn't take as much of the sign as some of the other cars have this weekend. But no, unfortunately there for Cormac, he's just overcooked it a bit on the corner entry and tried to get on the power a bit too early and ended up off the track. So he's lost a spot to AJ Giddy, but no matter, it doesn't seem to be any damage. He can continue on and try and get that spot back. But
you okay to tell him he's got to fix the signage, Bill? He's got to sort that out.
To be honest, I think Gregory will be probably the first to tell him that. But look, they're down towards the Porsche dipper there. AJ Giddy and Simon Hunter are getting into it.
Good job by Giddy. He's making a claim for a top 10 spot. There's Cormac Murphy. Oh, gets the elbows out, goes through the final right hand, a bit of paint swapping going on. And here comes his teammate Justin Allen, I think, right in the draft in the 99.
Yeah, and that's a bit of shake and bake there from the syndicate cars working together. And Justin Allen might even look to actually put a move on his teammate Cormac Murphy. But no, he's now pulling it up, trying to get it stopped. He's running a little bit wide again like he did on the previous lap, and it's looking like he's actually going to give that spot up to his teammate. So he made a pass and then he's lost a spot. So that's the age-old thing in the GR86 Championship, is it's so hard to make a move and then get away with it. As we see there, Simon Hunter then trying to be last of the late breakers, potentially could have ended up going up the inside of both of the Syndicate Motorsport cars there, and he gives Cormac a little nudge on the exit.
There's the tempo being turned up here for some reason in the final one of the weekend. A few more skirmishes going on, not necessarily at the front of the field, maybe further down the order. Advantage at the moment between Broughan and Allen over Bethune is something in the order of 2.2 seconds. So they're comfortably away, and they continue to bank lap times that are in the order of 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster than that next block of Bethune, White, Blinko.
And Mac Templeton and Cam Hill have actually gotten themselves back onto the back of this group. So the number 92 car, the Neil Motorsport car, we were talking about Mac a little bit earlier. He actually, a couple of laps ago, was the second or third fastest car on the track. So there's plenty of pace, obviously, in the number 92 Neil Motorsport car, the New World St. Martin sponsored car. He's now gotten to the back of Simon Hunter, and that's given Cormac Murphy and Justin Allen and the Syndicate Motorsport cars a little bit of a gap, as they're now charging after AJ Giddy there in the number 10 car.
Mac's a good operator, and I think we'll see more of him as the championship continues to unfold. Has come through Mazda RX-8 competition, dabbled in this class last year and has made a big commitment to it this season. Replay of some good moves happening. We go to the dipper, and let's have a little watch here. Down the inside for Giddy. Was it Giddy there, I think, was it? Yeah. And then
that was AJ Giddy up the inside there, Simon Hunter, and then Cormac Murphy giving Simon Hunter a big buff in the side there. So those two were actually teammates for part of the season last year at Race Lab. But
remember me?
Exactly right. And then a little bit of bump drafting up the front straight. So we see there now Cooper Barnes, AJ Giddy, Justin Allen and Cormac Murphy. That's all straightened itself out a bit now. They're all line astern rather than running side by side. This is the back end of the top 10 there. Arthur Broughan's obviously driving his car beautifully, and Hugo Allen's giving him a real run for his money there. But Josh Bethune's doing a great job, and he's, you know, over last season, even when he didn't have the fastest car, he'd still put it on the podium and come home with the result. So he's certainly going to be playing the long game, and maybe Zach Blinko just doesn't quite have the speed in this one that he did this morning.
When we spoke rather just up on the balcony here behind commentary, behind race control this morning with Hugo Allen, his thing was amazing to watch yesterday afternoon. The attitude that he put in the car, and it basically underscored his willingness to try and find a way by. He ultimately copped a penalty, but he was quite disappointed in himself in his driving performance yesterday. What can we expect from him? He's 0.27 off Arthur. Is there a little something in the playbook that he might be able to use between now and the run to the line?
Well, almost the signature move of the IMAC race engineering cars run by Toddy Bickerton and Ian McNabb is the late race pace, and we see there the number 1, the Mad Butcher car. He's up there. He tried to go up the inside there of the 222, and those cars are it's almost their signature that they're fast at the end of the race, and they always seem to come on really well at the end, and that seems to be the case at the moment. Hugo seems to have bundles of speed. I did think in the middle of the race his car was moving around a lot more than Arthur's. Maybe they'd gone a little bit too far on the tyre pressure or overcooked it a bit, but that's certainly not the case, because he's caught right back up and he's putting Arthur there in the 222 car under immense pressure.
I like that. Or take an approach that sets you up for the final phase of the race. Have they done that? He looks like he's got the pace to do it, but he cannot easily clear Arthur Broughan at the moment. Been a good drive from young Arthur Broughan, the teenager who's raced overseas in karts, come back to this class of racing. We saw absolutely glimpses of his form, is not even the right word, last year. We know the talent that he's got. He's keeping it kind of in the ideal defensive position at the moment. He is making Allen work for it, isn't he?
And we see there Hugo Allen, the drive off the corner there, even though he had to run a narrower line, was better than Arthur Broughan. So it's going to be a one-lap dash now, coming onto the last lap, up the front straight. On the penultimate lap here at Hampton Downs International Motorsport Park, it's going to be either Arthur Broughan or Hugo Allen coming across the line to start this last lap, and they are nose to tail.
And one of our 108 volunteers here from the Motorsport Club show the both of them the last lap board. They're on their way home. Wonderful start to things in GR86 competition. This was the guy to beat in qualifying. Arthur Broughan stayed out of trouble when they reviewed the starts in race 1. He leads it. Can he hold on with less than a lap to go from Allen, who would love to start the defence of the title with a win? He's on the outside here, going into 2.
And what's going to happen here? He's on the outside. Allen's out in the dirt. He's done a bit of rally car style. Didn't quite pull it up there. Johnny McIntyre watching on. He's on the cans for Arthur Broughan there. Josh Bethune's got Chris White Jr. to deal with here on this last lap as well.
That might be just the gap, is it? It's a car length or half a car length back to the Mad Butcher entry. Does Allen have anything to be able to respond. Can Broughan just keep it clean, tidy, just execute in the manner that he's done in this race? Pack and save. He's about to pack and send it, trying to keep Allen behind him.
And Hugo Allen's got one last opportunity. Can he do something here at the Porsche Dipper? Maybe try and sell him the dummy. We've seen him do that pass before. He goes to the outside, but Broughan's smart to it. He doesn't let him up the inside or near the inside line. Hugo's going to get a better run out of here. One final opportunity, this final corner, the final lap, final corner of the race. He's got the lights going. Can he sell him the dummy?
Trying the Intimidator. This is where he was diving left and right yesterday, trying to make his way by. Sneak the nose up the inside. Bit of panel rubbing. You can see some smoke. Kicks up some dust. Rally style. They'll drag race to the line. They're on their feet here. Bridgestone GR86. He's going to get it. Allen's going to get it out of the final turn on the run to the line. It's a photo. Does Broughan get it back? What a finish.
Broughan got him back.
Broughan gets it. That's unreal by 2/100ths of a second. 0.024 in the end. What that tells you right there, that third race of the weekend, what is in store for the remainder of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship over summer. Fantastic stuff. Arthur Broughan does it with nothing in it as they cross the line over the reigning champ, Hugo Allen. Bethune will get to the podium as well, with White Jr. and Blinko rounding out the five. We look a little bit further back. Simon Hunter was involved in some decent battles with the likes of Cormac Murphy and Justin Allen. Allen bided his time and in the end got into the top 10.
Arthur Broughan and Hugo Allen should be seriously proud of themselves after that drive.
Arthur Broughan just managed to get the win. What a drag race to the end there. How do you feel after that one?
Yeah, that was pretty unreal. I got a bit scared there when Hugo got under me down in the last corner, but yeah, managed to get the run up the hill and take the win, so it's pretty awesome.
So obviously a great weekend for you so far. It's been a good one. How does it feel getting that win over the line, especially after being bumped at that last corner? Pretty cool?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever driven that hard in my life, to be honest. I was sweating pretty hard. Yeah, but it's pretty cool to take away 2 wins. Unfortunately, race 2 was a bit bad, but yeah, it's all good going into round 2.
Great job, well done.
Broughan holds on for an unforgettable win in the final race of the weekend. That's side draft used to perfection. Allen reminding us of why he is the champion and what a benchmark for the field to go up against. Congratulations, Lee Zeltwanger taking out the rookie for the round, and Zach Blinko the overall round victory. And naturally with that, the points lead. Piecing together weekends like Zach just did will be critical this summer. It is going to be a close championship. We have a little breather for Christmas now and reconvene for round 2 back here at Hampton Downs, January 9 to 11, before gradually continuing on and then tackling the South Island. Stay up to date on all the latest via our socials and the website. We hope you have a safe and fun festive season, everybody. From the team, it's bye for now.